Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to be decluttering all of my foundations, but first I'm going to start with all of my BB creams. So BB creams are typically a more lightweight foundation. They don't have as much coverage normally. They're a little more easy to just throw on your face. A lot of these I just blend in with my fingers if I'm in a rush. Let's just go ahead and get started. Alright, so I have two of these L'Oreal Magic Skin Beautifier BB creams. I have the shade Fair and Light. So I'm going to be getting rid of the shade Light because it comes off a little bit orange on my skin tone and it's a little bit too deep for me, but I'm going to be keeping the shade Fair. Alright, these next two are by Rimmel. They are the BB creams, well, beauty bombs. I have one just in their original style and then one in their Radiance. So I bought the Radiance one first and I have it in the shade medium. I bought it last summer to try it out. And it just sits on top of the skin really weird. I don't like it at all, really. And the shade is actually kind of like grayish green undertones to it. But my skin tone is it leans a little bit more to the warm side than the cool side. So the gray look doesn't really look too good on me. So I'm going to get rid of the Radiance one. Now, the original style I got afterwards, and I have it in the shade Light, and it matches me pretty good right now. But I think I'm still going to get rid of it. It still doesn't sit on the skin as good as other BB creams I have, but it doesn't sink into the skin like that L'Oreal one does that I was mentioning, so I'm just going to get rid of it. I'm not getting use out of it. It might work for a different kind of skin tone. I have normal skin, I would say, so it gets a slightly oily during the day in my T-zone, nothing crazy, but I'm definitely not dry anymore like I used to be, and this still sits kind of weird on top of my skin, so I'm going to get rid of this one too. Alright, this is my favorite BB cream right now. It's the CoverGirl Clean Matte BB cream for oily skin, it says, in the shade Fair. So this matches me right now. I think I might buy another shade for when I'm more tan, once summer really hits here. But I really love this. It has the coverage of, it has medium coverage, just like a foundation does, but it sinks into the skin beautifully. It's really very skin-like, and even though it says it's matte, I don't find that it's overly matte. You can still see a little bit of a glow to my skin through it, which I really love. But I do think that it would work if you were oily and if you're dry, so I really recommend this one, and I'm definitely going to be keeping it. Alright, this Neutrogena Healthy Skin Glow Shears, this is the Illuminating Tinted Moisturizer. I got this one towards the end of last summer, and it's in the shade Fair to Light, but it's actually pretty deep. This is, I think, their lightest shade. There might be one lighter than this, but Neutrogena doesn't really do a great job of having foundations for lighter skinned people. So if you have a lot lighter skin, I don't know if you'd be able to find a shade that matches you in this formula, but this is probably the most sheer BB cream that I have. It's really honestly just a tint. It does have SPF, so that's why I really like it during the summer. But I'm going to be keeping this one just to give it more of a chance this summer, since I got it towards the end of the summer and I didn't really get to try it out too much because my tan started to fade almost as soon as I got this. So yeah, but I'm going to keep this one and try it again this summer. Alright, this is a CC Color Correction Cream by the brand Sassy and Chic. I got this at Dollar Tree, so it was only $1. I only keep this. I don't really wear this typically, but I'm only keeping it because it's really light. So what I do with this is, since it's so lightweight, I'll just mix it in with any of my foundations that are a little bit deeper in the winter time to go ahead and lighten up my foundations that I might wear in the summer if I do want to wear it when my skin tone is a little bit lighter. So I'm going to keep that. It was only $1. If you're having trouble finding foundations that match you, foundation mixers are a really good option, but they can be kind of expensive, like a white foundation mixer. So I would recommend going to Dollar Tree and picking up one of these. There's really no coverage in it at all, so really all it does for me is lighten my foundation, which is exactly what I wanted to do, and it's only $1, like I said. So I recommend this too. Alright, this makes me so sad. So this is the L'Oreal Paris Advanced Sunscare Silky Sheer BB Face Lotion. It has 50 plus broad spectrum sunscreen in it, and I got this last summer, and I'm going to keep it because I'm about halfway through it. This is my favorite thing to wear, like if I'm going to the lake or going to the pool, because it has just a little bit of coverage. It's tinted, so if my body is a little bit more tanned and my face isn't, I can kind of match my face to my body, because I never put any of my fake tanner on my face since I have sensitive skin. So this will kind of match my face to my tan. And also, it's just really good. It sinks into the skin. It doesn't have that goopy sunscreen feel, even though it does have 50 SPF in it. But the sad thing is, I think they discontinued this, because I was looking all over for it, because I was going to buy a new bottle, because this one's going to expire at the end of this summer. And I'm pretty sure they discontinued it, and I was trying to find it online, and of course it's like $25 on Amazon, so I probably won't repurchase it. But if you guys know of any tinted like BB creams that have this high of sunscreen in them, let me know, because most of the ones have around 20 or 30, but not 50. So let me know if you know of any that do have this. But I'm going to keep it and use it this summer, but then I'm going to have to get rid of it, sadly. Alright, and then the last two BB creams I have are by Maybelline. They are the Dream BB Fresh 8-in-1 Beauty Balm Skin Perfectors. As you can see, this one's a little bit older than this one, so this says it's new and better. I don't know about that. I mean, they're about the same to me. This one is in the shade Light, and this is a shade Light Medium. This one in the shade Light, I have about this much left, so I'm going to use it this weekend, and it'll probably be used up. So I'll be getting rid of this one shortly. But this one is just a little bit darker, so I typically wear it in the summer. I love this BB cream. It's kind of similar to the L'Oreal one, except it's not one of those shade adjusting kind of foundations. But it just really sinks into the skin easily. I apply it with my hands when I'm on the run, and it looks so beautiful. It's not thick, even though it does have SPF 30 in it. But yeah, I really like it, and I really recommend it. It's a little bit cheaper than the L'Oreal one too, so if you're looking for a cheaper alternative to that one, it's really good. Alright, so now we're moving on to all of my foundations. I'll just go ahead and start with this one. This is the Maybelline Dream Cushion Fresh Face Liquid Foundation on the Go. I have it in the shade 20 Classic Ivory. It's fairly new. It came out, I think, at the beginning of this year. You can't see, I mean, there's nowhere to see through the packaging to what the actual color of the product is, so I was like, well, I'm Classic Ivory, but this is actually a lot deeper, I don't know if you can see that, than other Maybelline products in the shade Classic Ivory than I've experienced before. I really do enjoy this foundation, but I just haven't worn it much yet because it was way too dark for me. So I'm going to keep it just to try it over the summer. It didn't blow me away or anything. I have tried the L'Oreal Cushion Foundation, and this one has a little bit more coverage than the L'Oreal, and it is a really beautiful finish. I just haven't worn it much, like I said. I think if you're really oily, this might be a little bit too dewy for you, unless you just really like that dewy look. It's really fast and easy to apply. I just dip my beauty blender into the cushion and just go, and I can apply my foundation really quickly. But I'm going to save this just to try it out some more over the summer when the shade matches me better. But if you are thinking about buying this, I might go up one shade lighter than you think that you might be, just because it seems to run a little bit deeper than the other Maybelline foundations that are out there. Alright, this Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer, a lot of people were raving about it on YouTube, but I'm just not a big fan of the finish on me. It looks a little bit too foundation-like. It looks a little bit cakey, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, and sometimes like when you're taking pictures or you're going to an event and you're going to be far away from people or something like that, it's not really a bad thing to be able to tell that you're wearing makeup. And I'm not trying to fool anyone when I wear makeup. It's obvious that I'm wearing makeup. But this one just kind of gathered like around my nose and any of my fine lines. And also the shade is 01 Creamy Vanilla, which for a long time this was the lightest shade that they had, and it is like super yellow based. And it's not that light at all. Even when I have some fake tan on, it's still almost too dark for me. And I did hear that they came out with a shade lighter than this. It's 00, I don't know the name. But I heard that that one wasn't very light either, so I wish they would extend their shade range on the lighter spectrum a little bit more, because they do have plenty of dark shades. So yeah, it's just not a good color for me either. It's just way too yellow, so I'm going to be passing this one on. Alright, this is the Too Faced Born This Way. Alright, this is the Too Faced Born This Way Undetectable Medium to Full Coverage Foundation. It's oil-free. I have mine in the shade Light Beige. So this is a little bit deep for me right now, but this is the foundation that I wore on my wedding day. I love this stuff so much. So when I want to wear this before I'm self-tanned, I will typically mix in this like I was telling you about, because it doesn't add any extra coverage. It doesn't change the consistency of this foundation. And this foundation looks so beautiful on the skin. Like I said, I wore it on my wedding day because it's so skin-like. It's really undetectable, like it says, that you're wearing any foundation at all. So I really recommend this to any of my friends that are getting married or anything like that. If you have drier skin, I would recommend using kind of a more hydrating primer underneath this, because it's not really matte, but it's not like fully dewy or luminous. It just kind of looks like skin. So if you're really dry, I would recommend a hydrating primer. If you're really oily, I would recommend just a whatever is going to help mattify you a little bit, because like I said, it does have a touch of luminosity to it, but I love this stuff so much. I haven't made the plunge to buying a shade that matches me when I'm not self-tanned, so I just keep mixing in those that CC cream from Dollar Tree, but I really love this product, so I definitely recommend this one. Alright, these are both the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. So I have this one in the jar in the shade 120 Classic Ivory. Like I said, I normally wear Classic Ivory and Maybelline stuff. It is a little bit too deep for me in the winter, just like a tad bit. And when I went to Ireland, I saw this one, and it's the same product, but it's in a squeeze tube, which I love, because this one, while I like it, it doesn't have a pump, and like, see how gross it gets, and it's just kind of a mess. So I got it in the squeezy tube, and I also got it in one shade lighter. I think this is in the shade just Ivory, so not Classic Ivory, just Ivory. So I'm not even going to open this one because I know I'm just going to use it in the winter time, but I love this foundation. It says matte and poreless, but I don't think that it's totally, completely matte. It just looks like skin. It's very similar in finish to the Too Faced Born This Way, except this one is just a little bit thicker of a consistency when you're applying it, but I really love it, so I'm going to keep both of those. Alright, this L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow, this came out last summer. I have mine in the shade 203, so this matches me really well when I have a fake tan. I haven't ever purchased it in a lighter shade to wear in the wintertime. I might this year. I have probably about, oh, I don't know, like this much left in the tube, so after I finish it this summer, I might purchase it in a lighter shade so that I can wear it throughout the rest of the year. It looks really beautiful on the skin, very glowy, but not like crazy glowy like the next ones that I'll talk about by L'Oreal. It just looks like skin. It's really pretty. The only thing I will say is make sure that you shake it up, and I don't know if it's the sunscreen that's in it that does it, but sometimes if you don't shake it before you use it, you can see like little white dots come through after it dries down on your face. So I'm not sure if that's a sunscreen or what it is, so just shake it really well before you use it. It is glowy, and it's for normal to dry skin, and I do think that's true. I think if you're oily, this might break down on you fairly quickly. For me, this lasts about 8 to 9 hours, so it's not as long lasting as some of my other foundations, but it does look really pretty, especially like in summertime. So I do recommend this one. I'm going to finish using this one up and then probably buy it in a lighter shade. Alright, these two. These are the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Healthy Luminous Makeup. They have sunscreen SPF 20. I have it in the shade N12 Neutral, N12 Neutral and W4 Warm Natural Beige. This one's in the shade Soft Ivory. So this foundation used to be like my foundation. That was the only foundation I wore. Last summer I was like, oh, I love this foundation. I'm going to buy it in a deeper shade so I can wear it when I'm self-tanned. But last summer I started to get a lot more oily in my T-zone, like I'm saying. Now I'm a lot more normal. I used to, for all through high school, the first couple years of college, I was always super dry. So I wanted anything and everything that was going to luminize me. I wore hydrating primers, did a whole bunch of moisturizer and everything, and it never seemed to be enough. And then all of a sudden, now I'm a little bit more oily, and this foundation just breaks down on me too quickly. Unfortunately, it does look really beautiful when I first apply it, and it's not full coverage. It's about a medium coverage, so if you're looking for that and you have really dry skin, this is a really beautiful foundation, but unfortunately it just doesn't work for me anymore, so I'm going to be giving these up. Alright, this one I actually just got not too long ago. I just saw it floating around on Amazon. I've never actually seen this in a store. But this is the Maybelline Dream Nude Air Foam Air Infused Makeup Sunscreen Broad Spectrum SPF 16. 16, I don't know why that's funny. I have it in the shade Classic Ivory. So it looks like a normal pump, but if you can hear that, it's like an aerosol can. So when you push it out, I just gonna get like a tiny bit. It's like a mousse, like a hair mousse almost. And then when you blend it in, it looks like that. So I've only tested it out a few times because I just recently got it, but it's super lightweight. It's not full coverage by any means, but it does look really beautiful on the skin, and I like to just use my fingers for it. It's not a BB cream, but it kind of feels, it kind of goes on like a BB cream, but it's really fun. It's kind of fun to like put foam all over your face and then blend it in, and then it's your foundation. So it gives a pretty luminous finish to the skin, as you can see. So yeah, I really like this one. I think it was about $8 on Amazon. So I'm not sure if it was a product before and it just got discontinued, or maybe it's one of those that you can get in other countries, just not in America. But yeah, I really like it. And if you see it or if you want to try it out, I definitely recommend it. Alright, this is by e.l.f. This is the, I want to say, Flawless Finish Foundation. I think that's what it's called. I have mine in the shade Porcelain. And I know that they recently went through some name changes on this particular foundation. Like the shade names changed. So I'm not sure if the shade that I have is called Porcelain anymore on their website or on in the new bottles. But I love this foundation. It's very similar to the Maybelline Fit Me Matte that I was telling you about. This one's a little bit thicker of a formula, but it sits on the skin so beautifully. You don't need a lot. I think it's really easy to go overboard with this. It is, I would say, medium coverage, and it's not necessarily buildable. So like I've tried to build it up to full coverage before, and it just started to look a little bit cakey. So I think if you want a full coverage foundation off the bat, I wouldn't get this one because I don't think that it builds the best. But it does give your skin a really skin-like finish. When you just put on one thin layer, it's very undetectable on the skin, and it just enhances all of the luminosity in your skin that you already have. And I think that it would work for dry and oily skin because it's not too matte and it's not too dewy. Like I said, it just kind of lets the skin peer through while still covering up imperfections, and it's super affordable, so I recommend this one. Alright, these two are my Rimmel Lasting Finish 25 Hour with Comfort Serum Skin Perfecting Full Coverage Foundation. So I have one in the shade 101 Classic Ivory, which is like my typical shade, what I wear for most of the year when I'm not fake tan. And then I have the shade 200 Soft Beige, which I got while I was on my honeymoon last year because my spray tan that I had gotten for my wedding started to fade, and that Too Faced one was starting to be a little bit too deep for me, so I ran to Walmart and I knew I liked this foundation, so I picked up this shade. But I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this one just because I have so many foundations that match me in the summer that I don't need this one. But I am going to keep this one for the winter because it's my favorite full coverage foundation to wear in the winter time. It's full coverage, but it doesn't look cakey ever. It's buildable, and it just looks so pretty in pictures. But I've never experienced any kind of flashback with this in any pictures or anything like that. And it just has a really beautiful finish, and it is super long lasting. I've never tried it for the 25 hours that it claims that it lasts, but it is really beautiful on the skin, so I'm going to keep this one, and it's also super affordable. Alright, these two are by Wet n Wild. These are the new Photo Focus foundations that they came out with. They recently came out with these. I have two of them. I have them in the shade Soft Ivory, which is their light warm shade, and then Nude Ivory, which is their light neutral shade. So, unfortunately, I have to mix these two together to be my perfect shade, but I really don't mind having both because they're only $5 each. So that's $10 for this foundation for two of them, whereas like the Too Faced one, this is $40 just for this one. So I don't think it's that bad to have to buy two shades. They do actually have a pretty large shade range. It's just that this neutral one normally I would go for the neutral option, but this one is actually a little bit more pinky toned. So I'm not exactly sure what their light cool tone one looks like, but I have to mix these two together to be perfect for my skin tone. Now I don't know if they'll be perfect for me in the summertime. I might not be able to use them over the summer when I have a fake tan, and I don't think I'm going to go out and buy more shades of it just to wear in the summer, just because I have so many other ones that match me then. But this is a really beautiful foundation too, super buildable. It can go from a light medium coverage all the way to full coverage, and it's called Photo Focus because they tested it in all sorts of different photography settings, so that you don't have any flashback. So it is really good for events. It looks very skin-like, kind of indetectable, similar to the Too Faced one, and I really like these, but I don't think I'm going to buy any more shades. I'm going to use up these two first. Alright, this is the e.l.f. Moisturizing Foundation Stick, and I have mine in the shade Nude. I recently just got this. I had a darker shade, but it was a little bit too deep for me. Now, I really like this tone a lot more. It's slightly warm tone, but it's pretty neutral tone, so I really like that. This is exactly what it says it is. It's a really good foundation stick, and a lot of times foundation sticks can be really drying, so it's hard to find one if you have more normal to dry skin. But this one is really hydrating, actually, and I would say that it's a dupe for this Makeup Forever Ultra HD stick. I have this one in the shade 117 equals Y225. And this is, I want to say, like $42 for this foundation. And I actually got it when I was traveling, or the second to last time I traveled, because I didn't want to have to worry about bringing like a liquid foundation along with me and having it like bust in my luggage and having to deal with that. So I wanted to try this one out. But after getting this one, again, they're basically a dupe for each other. This one is just as hydrating as this one. Neither of them look cakey on the face. They both look very, very skin-like. You can build them up to full coverage really easy. Otherwise, they're a kind of a light to medium coverage. So if you don't want to pay the money for this one, even though it's really good, I would definitely try the e.l.f. one. I don't think I'll repurchase this one ever because the e.l.f. one is just as good. But yeah, they both are really awesome. Alright, and then the last one I have is this e.l.f. Acne Fighting Foundation. This is probably the lightest foundation that I have that isn't that CC cream that I'm keeping from the Dollar Tree. So this is what I wear when I'm like at my fairest in the wintertime. Now it's made for oily skin and it's supposed to help with acne, and I've never had like full-blown acne. I get pimples once in a while, but I don't find that it, really helps clear anything up, but it is a pretty nourishing foundation, and it comes out really thick. It's in like a little squeezy tube like this, and it does come out pretty thick, but then it blends into the skin so effortlessly. So it's kind of a crazy formula to me that it's so mousse-like, but yet it blends in that well. So yeah, I really like this one. I probably won't repurchase just because I have so many foundations, but a lot of these I'm about, halfway done with, so I'm just going to use them up because I do enjoy them. I just won't be repurchasing it probably. Okay, I just decided that I'm going to get rid of this Maybelline Dream Cushion. It's not that I don't like it, I just have so many shades to use it up this summer that I've had for a year that if I don't use them up, they're going to expire. So I'm going to go ahead and give this to someone that has a little bit of a deeper skin tone than me that can get more use out of this right away. So I'm going to get rid of this one too. Alright, also just realized I'm going to be getting rid of this L'Oreal BB cream in the shade Fair because the lid just busted off, and I'm not going to keep that because it's just going to get all messy in my collection. I don't know if I'll repurchase it right now at least, just because I have so many other BB creams that I could use up. So yeah, overall I'm going to be getting rid of 9 foundations and keeping 16. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but like I said, a lot of them I'm just going to be trying to use up. I don't know if I'll repurchase all of them, but make sure you look out because I'm going to be doing some empties videos soon. So some of these I'm going to be finishing up probably within the next month or two. So they'll probably be featured in my upcoming empties videos. So in my next video, I'm going to be decluttering all of my powders. So be on the lookout for that one too. And thank you so much for watching.